thoughts on feminism? I'm not a feminist, I believe in equal rights. Let's just look up the definition of feminism.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going against our better judgment and we're going full fucking retard. That's right, we're diving right in to the shallow end of the pool. I wish I was fucking with you, but honestly I think all the stupidity that feminism has put out there has somehow been collected and compiled into this video. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and start unraveling this masterpiece. So everyone sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Of women's rights on the ground of the equality of the sexes.
We know, we know what you think you are doing.
I want to start out by defining feminism.
How do I define feminism?
Feminism is the definition of feminism, after just putting it in Google.
I quote, "The advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of
The social and political
Economic equality to men."
Do you people think that that's like casting some kind of spell that somehow erases reality and facts and information?
We want equalities for the women's.
Absolutely! Here's your equalities!
But we want equalities for the women's.
But you already have all of your equalities to the men's.
But my definition, we want equalities, remember? The definition!
I understand your word has a definition, but you already have your equalities. The fuck?
There you go. Equality. Not women being better than men or ignoring men's issues.
Yes, well, my dear, what makes you think that women cannot also hate men and ignore men's rights as well as call themselves a feminist? Oh, wait a second, I see that's what the magical power of the definition is for.
Feminists, don't you mean feminazis? Did you seriously just compare aggressive equal rights activists to literal genocidal fascists? Sure, there are some feminists who push it too far and seem to hate men.
And there are no similarities between feminists and the Nazis. You see, the Nazis, they spread their propaganda and claims that all their problems come from a certain group and label that group as harmful. And then they declare they must overcome that group's oppression. Then they moved on to declaring privileges for belonging to a certain group.
But they're not really feminists. They're misandrists.
And all the Germans killing all the Jews, they were not true Nazis.
People who think women are actually better than men, which is obviously just as wrong as thinking men are better than women. Also, remember the suffragettes? They were some of the first memorable feminists.
Why yes, the suffragettes are memorable because they fought for rights that they did not actually have. Now what do you think that the modern wave of feminism is going to be remembered for? Because there are no more rights to be won for women in the name of equality to men. Unless you want to take your happy ass over to the land of burkas and barbarians.
But they did a lot of things people disapproved of too. Arson, chaining themselves to buildings, hunger strikes. Does that mean that what they were fighting for, a vote for women, was wrong?
So because they were fighting for the rights of women, their methods are justified. I get it now. See, this is what little Ahmed was trying to tell me.
Don't let the methods of a few put you off the cause.
And we kill all the infidels, but that doesn't make us wrong. I mean, we do it for the name of Allah and Muhammad, peace be upon him.
What about men's rights? A lot of feminists care about men's rights too. The whole thing is about gender equality and women being equal to men in all areas of life.
I mean, you can say that you're all for feeding the homeless, but if you've never fed a homeless person or have no intention of feeding them, then you kinda look like a virtue signaling asshole for bringing that up.
Perhaps if men's rights activists would work with feminists to make the world better for everyone, that might be more productive.
Perhaps if feminists were to work with men's rights activists to make the world a better place for everyone, that might be more productive. Because MRAs also fight for women's rights. Oh, you don't like it when it's said that way. Saying it that way is somehow wrong.
Rather than all this pointless infighting when we really all want the same thing.
Believe it or not, there are people who don't fight for just women or fight for just men. They're called egalitarians. But it's never even crossed your mind to fight for people's rights without considering their genitals into the equation, has it?
Also, this may not be completely accurate, but I think the societal pressures on men are so linked to women's issues that it's quite hard to separate them. For example, the idea that men shouldn't cry and should be tough all the time could be linked to the idea that men should be afraid of expressing their emotion in a way that is linked to femininity and therefore weakness.
Let me give you a scenario here, okay? Just roll with me for a moment, if you will. Okay, let's say that you, your husband, and your children are enjoying dinner at your house, when all of a sudden, some man kicks in the door and starts firing wildly into the air. Would you prefer that your husband, A, crawl into the corner and cry like a little bitch because he's scared, or B, stand up and shoot back and kill the man defending you and your children? Since you are a feminist and wish for men to be emasculated, congratulations on choosing option A. You and your family are dead. While the situation does seem a little grim, at least your husband got to express those beautiful emotions.
So if we stop associating femininity with weakness, then men could act in a way that's considered more feminine without judgment. Not all men. I don't disrespect women. I don't think any rational feminist condemns all men as woman haters. But all men do have privilege due to their gender, and you can't deny that.
Okay, fine. You know what? I am willing to accept that I have male privilege, that having a penis gives me some magical privilege. If, and only if, you can show me where I can go cash in this privilege. Seriously, where are all these places where I can just go whipping out my dick and getting free stuff? Get those privileges, you know, get those discounts.
It's highly unlikely that a man will be denied a job because of his gender, for example.
It's also highly unlikely that a woman will be denied a job based off of her gender as well. Because that's called discrimination and it's fucking illegal. You dumbass. Also, thanks to feminism, it is entirely possible for men to get denied employment opportunity based off of his gender. Oh, you haven't heard about quotas, have you? Well, you see, that's when a female gets her privilege of getting a job because they need more vaginas in the workplace. They push the more qualified male applicants aside in favor of less qualified female applicants because diversity.
Except in a few female-dominated fields. Men's opinions are often seen as more valid than women's.
When you make statements like, men's opinions are more valid because they're men, that makes me question the validity of your opinion not because you're a woman, but it's because you said something incredibly stupid.
And in society, it's considered more acceptable for a man to be dominant.
Look, it's not that it's more acceptable, it just happens to be more common. Okay, men are more likely to be dominant, females are more likely to be submissive. It has a lot more to do with biology than it does, you know, being a creation of society.
I don't get it. Where does this privilege come from? Our whole world has been developed mostly by men.
And you're welcome! I'm just fucking with you. Seriously though, how does men being more prevalent throughout history give me privilege today?
Yes, but when you read a history book, you're more likely to read about somebody who shares your gender.
Yeah, you see, that doesn't actually do anything for me.
What do you mean it doesn't do anything for you? It's a privilege to read about other people who have penises.
If you look in the history books, you will see very few female names. There has been now only 2 female prime ministers of the UK, both of which were white, and there has never been a female president of the United States, though that might change.
You know, I've always been so curious about this point. I mean, what do you suppose that having a vagina will add to being a leader? I mean, are there magical leadership powers that come with having a vagina?
Naturally, when a man is running the country, he will make decisions that benefit his gender primarily, whether consciously or not, which often leaves women with less say.
So by your own logic, if we start electing women to leadership roles, they're just going to make decisions that benefit their gender, whether consciously or not, which are going to leave men with less of a say. But then again, women don't have that nasty penis that just corrupts them. They have the nice, clean, magical power of the vajayjay, which will keep them on track and unbiased. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the end of her video. That's right, we've still got the patriarchy to deal with. Since this video is already getting kind of long, I'm going to stop things here and we're going to continue the rest in a second video. Now, in conclusion to part 1, what the fuck is she saying? Okay, stop trying to perpetuate stereotypes of women being infantilized in the view of society. That's not what most of us think about women. The only thing that I can see that might hold women back are assholes like you, telling women that they're oppressed, telling women that other people look down upon them, telling them that all the systems are rigged against them, instead of showing them and telling them that all the rights are in place and nothing is going to stop them from achieving whatever they want in life. And when they run into trouble like everyone does, instead of working to overcome that and become a better person, they think, oh, it's just the patriarchy holding me down. Dear God. Anyway guys, I certainly do hope that you did enjoy the video. And keep an eye out for part 2 coming soon. Remember everyone, until next time, keep up the fight against stupidity wherever you may find it. Have a good one.